Let's try it.
All right, we are live.
Okay. Well, welcome to the Raleigh County Commissioners meeting of May 18th. Let's stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, moly, you let everyone in. All at once.
Okay, do I have public comment? Okay, Russell.
We gotta go.
Morning, Commissioners. Russell Stuckey, Emergency Management, County Fire. Couple of things. Good note, our fire crews that we sent out to Ashland got back early Sunday morning. They fought fire Friday night from, I think they arrived out there around 6 p.m. and fought fire till about 5 a.m. And then they headed to the motel and slept. And then they went back out Saturday afternoon and fought fire till about approximately 10 p.m. And then they headed home and got home around, I think it was around 3 or 4 a.m. Saturday night, Sunday morning. And so they said that the Friday, it was a bit disorganized. And but Saturday that everything got organized. They got their EOC up and running and staffed and did a good job, but there's a lot of fire out there. And the state fire marshal still asking for help, and other counties have sent crews, but there's a possibility we may look at going back out later in the week if they're still fighting fire. So I don't know if you have any questions on that in particular. And then of course, I filled up your email box this morning with severe weather. Looking at severe weather this evening. I know Blue Valley's already going to let out school at 1 o'clock. I talked to the weather service this morning, and they said they project the initial storms hitting Riley County between 3 and 4 o'clock. So, right at the bulk of it will be right at drive home time. So whether the commissioner would want to consider letting people go home a little bit early to get them off the roads before the storm hits. If you were going to consider that, it would probably be in that 2 to 3 o'clock time range would be the most appropriate to get them off the roads before the storm hit. But I don't know if you have any questions about that.
Thank you.
Can we get a list or send something to the guys that went out there?
Yes.
Thank you
Mhm.
for them.
Yeah.
Get us, we'd like to
Acknowledge it.
acknowledge the fact that they.
Sure.
did that.
Yep, we can do that. Any other questions? All right, thanks.
Good morning, Commissioners. As you know, my name is Gary Oles. I live at 3308 Frontier Circle. When I was doing the dishes and pots and pans this morning, I was contemplating what to say to you that's impactful. And I think the truth is there's probably nothing that I've ever said that's impactful to you. And that's the sad part of it. There's a lot of movers and shakers in the community that get a lot of time on this podium. For example, Mike Dobson and others when we talk about county administrators. But where does the public get an opportunity to talk to you? It's typically individual. And I bet you they talk to you a lot, either verbally or by email, which is understandable. And maybe that's the format and the way it's always been. I just want to continue to emphasize that property taxes are a major issue. And I had another epiphany the other day, other than the one that I shared with you last time about everybody renting. When you look at the federal government, the state government, and local government, what's the difference other than the volume of money, which is pretty significant? But when you look at the federal government, what do you hear from politicians? You hear about representing the people. When you talk to state people, what do you hear about? Representing the people. When you get to county government, city government, you don't really hear that conversation. It's not as verbal, I should say, in the media. It does happen, but it's not as verbal. That's a concern because you were elected by the people. We, the people, put you in that seat. And you have, as I think I've told all of you, you have that twin bill baseball cap that's county government needs, citizens' needs, and it's a tough job. So hats off to you with regards to the decisions you have to make. But the reality is, costs are going up, expenses are going up, contracts, our CPD is going up, which I'll see you there at noon. And I just ask you to keep in mind that you're going to have to make some tough decisions, which may include a RIF. I hope you're considering R&R, but make sure people understand, even though you've said it a million times, R&R doesn't mean that Greg's taxes are going down. Doesn't mean that. Doesn't mean my taxes or any of the commissioners or any of the people here are going down. Because we look at it as a whole, and then you look at it individual. People get upset about the individual. They pay less attention about the whole amount. Just want to try to be an encouragement to you to hang in there. The process is almost done for you. We're getting closer. Brittany will accumulate all the numbers. I did want to point out, and I can't remember if I did this before, but in 2025, your expenditures were 46% from an ad valorem standpoint, but your personnel in 2026, it went from 46% in 2025 to 54% in 2026. Will it come back down? Will it go back up even higher? And it's personnel costs that are the biggest factor, as you all know. Please don't talk about keeping the mill levy flat when the property taxes go up. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Ellerman, Public Works. I just had a couple reminders tomorrow. The shades are coming in, so they need to be or will be in your offices. So if you need to work, you may be interrupted. And just want to let you know, we scheduled bid opening for IT GIS remodel for June 18th, if you haven't seen that yet.
Hey, John, on those shades, are they gonna be attached way at the top or halfway, or how do you know?
We
how
have
that-
attached at the top and we'll be able to pull.
So there'll be a
them down.
long pole.
Yes,
Okay.
I believe that's where they are, yes.
I forgot to mention one thing in my long list is, for the public and anybody else listening, now's the time, if you don't already have a designated place to go shelter, whether it's with a neighbor or your church or wherever it is, now's the time to figure that out, not at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock today when if or when the sirens go off. And we're looking at kind of all modes of severe weather, flash flooding, large hail, winds, possible tornadoes. So it's potentially the whole gamut. So now's the time to prepare if you haven't already.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll go to commission comments. Commissioner Ford.
Yes, well, Thursday afternoon, I actually chaired NACO's May's Veteran Military Services Committee meeting via Microsoft Teams. After giving a few opening introductions and welcome, I also made a brief statement in acknowledgement of the upcoming Memorial Day. Then we heard from James Thiers. He's the Public Affairs Director at the National Cemetery Administration. It's under the same umbrella as the Department of Veteran Affairs. And he served here at Fort Riley, the Big Red One, and both of his kids went to K-State. So, yeah, so I had quite the little conversation about that there, which I thought was cool, considering I was filling in for the chair who couldn't be there on Thursday. He discussed the plan today on a Forever program, gave an overview of the services offered by the National Cemetery Administration. And then next we heard from Terry Miller, Consumer Education Specialist with the Federal Trade Commission. She discussed ways to combat fraud in veteran communities and elsewhere. Then we followed up with a pretty good open discussion with the committee, get some information out there. We also got a legislative update from Seamus Dowdell, our legislative assistant with the committee and through NACO to finish out the meeting. Saturday morning, attended a graduation ceremony. A friend of mine's son who graduated with honors from K-State. Looks like he's got a job summed up in the Kansas City area where they're from. So all seems to be where they're. And realized it had been a while since I attended any of those graduation ceremonies. I guess I don't know enough people with kids anymore. That might be a good or a bad thing. But Bram was just pretty packed on Saturday, or at least I thought so. Entire town was pretty packed on Saturday. And speaking, yeah, the whole week last week, just traffic was just insane. Hopefully it's better today. We'll see on that, I guess. Saturday afternoon, I did get out and walk around the Mayfest out at Seco Park. Pretty nice afternoon to be out and about, although it was pretty windy. A couple of them trying to keep their tents and stuff established, I guess. There were a lot of vendors and a lot of displays. Kind of took me a little bit by surprise. It was quite a walk around there. It wasn't just a loop. I mean, it was, everybody seemed to be enjoying themselves, including the kids. And I'm anticipating this will probably be a yearly event moving forward. Rest of the weekend I spent at home, just getting some much needed rest and just getting ready for the upcoming week. And that's all I got.
Commissioner McKinley.
All right. Well, Friday, late afternoon, and evening, I attended the league track meet for Manhattan High at Junction City. It's a bragging portion of it. Although it was, even at 6 o'clock, it was still really hot and humid. And one spectator went down and had to be taken out in the ambulance. But our granddaughter finished 6th in the 400 meter and was on the first place 4x400 relay team. And she's a sophomore this year. Overall, the girls finished first with double the points of the second place team, and the boys were second to Junction City. Saturday morning was Riley County Republicans meeting. Heard from Charlotte O'Hara, who's running for governor, and Stacy Kohlmeyer is running for the House District 67. And then also heard an update from Brad Starnes on state business, and myself on county, and Von Felt on the city items. A lot of discussion about the voting for Supreme Court justices that's coming out in August. That's all I got.
Okay. Well, let's see, Thursday evening, I attended the end of year choir concert at the Fort Riley Middle School. One of my good friends teaches 6th, 7th, and 8th grade music. She's been doing it for the past 3 years. And this was their final concert of the school year. Really good concert. Those kids did a great job. And to see the progress that she's made with this new program is just amazing. These kids are really good. Everything was memorized. They did a full program. So it's great. So Friday, I had some appointments downtown, then did some catching up at home. Later, I worked on reviewing the law board packet for today's meeting. That's a long one. I'll work on it again later, but Saturday did some yard work in the morning, then some house cleaning. Later, I reviewed the documents for this meeting, and then worked on them again on Sunday afternoon. Sunday did last performance with our bell choir for the academic year. But we're going to do some smaller groups during the summer. So later went to lunch with some friends at the Little Grill and had a good visit and meal. Afterwards, I finished reviewing the law board packet and the documents for today's meeting. And then I also did some preparation for possible severe storms that night. Also, yesterday afternoon, one of my big trees that's on the creek went down. Half of it's in my yard and half of it's in the creek. So I'm not sure what. It's great big sickle. So anyway, that's all I have.
Looking for business commissioners. First time I have any motion on the tax roll corrections.
Is that the Keith's Lagoons? Is that what that is?
Yes, that was
Okay.
East Lagoon, there was a correction.
Yeah.
You already had it once, but, you can't have exempt ag land, so it has to be marketed. That's why there's a value change.
Oh, okay.
So that got caught, got that corrected. Still the same amount as far as it's come off, it's.
Yeah.
But it's just the appraised value change.
Okay.
Well, I'd move to approve the tax roll correction.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve the tax roll corrections. All in favor?
Chair, please sign. Next, Commissioner, need a motion on the mobile device reimbursement request forms. Mouthful.
Yes.
Now, what's the difference between, but like if, like Brittany had one at what, the $40, now it's going to 65, or what's the?
It's based on usage. Someone like Brittany's position uses it for email, text, and calls, where someone may just get a random call every once in a while, so then you do the lesser amount generally. It's the department's discretion to make that call. The department has discretion.
Cause she already had it. She had it.
Yeah.
She had a phone, she didn't have a plan though.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is, trust me, she's on there a lot.
It's a special
sure.
plan.
Okay. Do I make a motion to approve the request for mobile device reimbursement?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the mobile device reimbursement request. All in favor? Right.
Sure, please sign. Next, Commissioners, any changes to minutes?
No, I didn't have anything on it.
Well, I'd move to approve the minutes of the May 14th meeting as presented.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the May 14th meeting as presented. All in favor? Aye.
Tentative agendas, look, Commissioners.
Interesting. We're getting the thing that they're doing for the city county meeting that afternoon, which is why we said we didn't want to keep repeating.
Well, actually, Jared did that intentionally. Wanted to get to all of them, try to get to all of them at once, and thought that that was going to happen there, so he scheduled it with us
Yeah.
first.
Any items for next week's press conference, Commissioners? If not, you have Amanda Webb next on East Manhattan Gateway Future Land Use Map Amendment.
Mm.
Yeah.
So if it's 8,000 at any use. That had been removed, but it can't have exempt ag use parcel.
Oh.
So I did a little bit of training with the team on it, that, you know, anytime something goes from ag.
What's that?
to
Oh.
exempt, it's to go on
Oh,
the
yeah.
market plan, yes.
On the state's cloudy, let's
I saw it change the value.
Yes. Yes, that's correct. We, you guys had already approved making an assessment of zero, that crazy value change, that's why it had to come back for you again, so. Heads up.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, gosh. We're talking softball size
Curious
theaters.
to see really how this storm turns out.
Yeah.
How right or
Yeah,
wrong they
possible.
are.
45% chance.
I don't think I've been watching these for a good while. I don't think I've seen one that I haven't seen one with the diagonal bars on it, where it's like a 10% increased risk for tornadoes. Usually it's just that hatches. But the barred lines, that's a new one.
Okay, state made it to the Big 12 tournament anyway.
Barely.
Yeah. Started out red hot.
Now, but, yeah.
Bless you. How the Royals doing now?
Well, they won 5 out of 7, and then they lost 6 in a row, and now they've won 2 in a row, and it's just a roller coaster pretty much.
How's your team doing, John?
Well, then sweet, they won the series against Royal.
Yeah.
You're doing well this year.
Are they?
Yeah, really surprised.
That's a tough division.
Looks like.
Mhm.
Almost sent you a picture of my son-in-law last night. He was wearing his Cardinals.
Okay, Cubs fan, I lost the bet this weekend. My uncle was a White Sox fan. So we bet whoever won the series, that next time I had dinner with him in Chicago, I'll have to wear a White Sox hat.
Oh.
I thought I had him and it was Friday. It's gonna be great. I was riding about
And was there a brawl or something? I saw some video, something Friday night.
maybe. I
The
don't know.
crowd was yelling Green Bay sucks.
Oh, yeah, yeah, the crowd, yeah, the crowd, both. Yeah, and Rick,
I got a kick out of that.
Of Nick McGreens.
Yeah.
Is Bob,
What's that?
is Bob presenting today? She's calling
Oh, is she? Must be.
out of office.
Yeah,
I
must
sent her an
be.
email. She said, I'm not in, I'm out of office today.
Must be. I'm usually early. What she told me.
Well, it says the presenters actually is Mitch. Look at it.
I pull up the presentation.
Just click, go on the, be your left-hand side there, scroll down and click on your item. Oh, you just went past it.
Well, this is the presentation.
Okay, yep,
Pull
yep,
everything
click
up.
on your presentation, yep, sorry. It should come up. There you go.
Where you got it.
Back up.
Yeah, it's warm in here.
It's too fast. Roughly in the back.
Whereas one is the fastest, lower is the slow, it's gonna say, and usually.
Yeah, they're backwards.
There we go. Should be slower.
Thank you.
Ready?
Ready?
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Ben Schmiel. I'm a senior planner in the Planning and Development Department for the City of Manhattan. Joining me is Stephanie Peterson, Director of the Planning and Development Department. This morning, the City of Manhattan is coming to you with a comprehensive plan amendment. Specifically, we're looking to amend our future land use map for the incorporation of some land use changes that were envisioned throughout the what's referred to as the East Manhattan Gateway vision, looking at areas primarily east of Manhattan, including the McCall Triangle area and areas along the US 24 corridor. So just to be clear, none of the amendments that we're looking at this morning are actually within Riley County. But because we have the City of Manhattan and Riley County has an interlocal agreement that requires us to go to the county with any amendments to our comprehensive plan. We are going to this morning to ask you to pass a resolution concerning these amendments. So the future land use map, or the FLUM, is a long-range development, is a map that dictates or guides rather long-term development of the city and outlying areas within the comprehensive plan boundary. So it directs policy level decisions. So think annexations, rezonings, infrastructure improvements, to ensure that there's compatibility with existing land uses, and helps us determine more direction for the future. So it doesn't directly translate to zoning, but it helps us make decisions when developers come to the city and ask for rezonings or annexations. We look to this document to figure out if it's appropriate or not. So again, it does not regulate specific properties, and it does not by default rezone a property. This is the current land use map, or the current future land use map, I should say. So I want to direct your attention to this eastern portion, where we'll be looking at today. Currently, the boundary goes to Lake Elbow Road, and we have a lot of industrial service commercial uses planned out there. We'll go over what the changes are. So through the East Manhattan Gateway Vision process, we really zeroed in on future land uses within the McCall Triangle, and then uses directly adjacent to the US 24 corridor. So this is an image from that process where we really looked at what do we want the future land use to look like within the McCall Triangle. So community commercial, there was a lot of kind of spotty industrial uses throughout the McCall Triangle. That's how the area developed initially. Over time, along McCall Road, you've seen a lot of more community commercial uses. So think retail, commercial, fast food restaurants, big box stores. So we're kind of solidifying that, making it more uniform throughout the area, and still keeping an industrial band along the perimeter, but really focusing more on the community retail commercial component in the interior. South of Sarver Lane, we have developed a new land use for that area that we're calling core commercial. Really just a potential extension of more of a downtown land use. Some key infrastructure or transportation upgrades would really have to happen before that was possible to create more inroads into that area. And again, this would be entirely privately driven. So we're not looking to force anybody to develop into that land use. But really, if those transportation upgrades were made, that would really unlock that potential for that land use specifically. Looking along the east or the US 24 corridor in the Green Valley area, we really looked at future land uses outside of this hatch marked area, which is everything that is developed or has a preliminary plat associated with it and is expected to develop within the near future. So we really wanted to look at undeveloped tracts outside of that area. So there wasn't a huge amount of change to land uses in this area from what we have today. The biggest change is going to be this expansion of industrial. This was previously slotted for industrial service commercial, which could include more retail uses, but probably lighter industrial uses. So having been paired with a market study with this with this visioning process. It was made plain to us that there's a significant demand for more industrial land within the Manhattan area. And this is where we think it could really thrive. So we wanted to set that aside specifically for industrial. That has been expanded, and community commercial uses along the corridor, reserving those lands for those uses. So I mentioned earlier, Lake Elbow Road was the previous boundary for our future land use map that has actually been extended eastward to Hopkins Creek. Everything north of the highway is still largely residential. We did include some pockets for intersections of major roads in the future to potentially be neighborhood commercial uses to better serve those neighborhoods out there. And updated some of the land uses to reflect, for instance, the USD land off of Mount Zion. And so this is what what those two maps translate to in terms of our future land use map that we're proposing. So this is the map that we're asking you to pass a resolution on. And I'll go a little bit into more detail about the actual changes to the future land use map. So again, modifying our industrial lands to service commercial, which includes a little bit more retail options, changing some of the industrial pockets in the core of the McCall Triangle area to community commercial, and then that South Sarbor development from community commercial to more commercial. Out on the east, in the Green Valley area, we're introducing a little bit more medium density residential closer to the highway. That was one thing that throughout the process we were being asked to look at, just to have some potential for additional density out there to create a better mix of housing types. Changing that service commercial to industrial south of the highway. And then we did go ahead and include some potential regional park space adjacent to the river in more floodplain areas. Think like a potential regional park, like, Seco or something a bit larger that could host some bigger facilities in the future. Further north, again, introducing that public civic use land use for USD land off of Mount Zion. We extended that future land use area boundary, and then I mentioned those neighborhood commercial nodes. So here's a timeline of where we've been. On April 6th, our joint planning board held a work session and initiated that comp plan amendment. They held a hearing on the 20th and passed a resolution, which went to the city commission on May 5th. That passed at the city commission level. So that brings us to today with you all. And we will see what happens after that, going to POCAM consideration. So yeah, the requested action is approving the resolution that would amend the Manhattan Urban Area Comprehensive Plan and the future land use map. Are there any questions for me?
Does that plan include annexation?
It does not. So we specifically avoided the annexation question because there is a lot to iron out in this area with that. In working with Pot County, it was clear that there was a lot of excitement around the prospect of more industrial development out here. What a specific development will need in the future, it could include annexation to connect to city services or not. We did we didn't want to predetermine that.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering what Potawatomi County was thinking about, you know, it always comes down to money, you know, taxation, that kind of thing. And how this will affect in the future, you know, taxation, monies that are development, how that's gonna affect Raleigh County taxpayers and how's it Pot County taxpayers, and, you know, those lines are kind of, you know, unfortunately, we've got real narrow county here, and it's kind of, you know, where do you draw the lines? And, you know, that's always comes up. I don't know if you've addressed any of that. Services, that kind of thing.
I mean, the city has a lot of infrastructure out here. And, you know, the old Scorpius tract, that was an island annexation that the city executed. And, you know, we're able to serve that tract. We have water service agreements with individual property owners out there. The city is supplying all of the water to the Green Valley area. So there is a lot of overlap and an odd mixture of things, and what jurisdiction things fall into in the future. A lot of that, you know, could be determined by where that infrastructure is, who's being served already, what needs are there for future development. They might need those city services, they might not. And when those developers are thinking through those things, they are thinking through the taxation issue. But we did not, we especially did not want to, you know, make the impression that we were really looking to have an active role in anything that was already developed.
I know those of us on the law board wonder how that's going to affect RCPD. You know, they can't go out into, you know, the county basically.
Yeah. That is a big question.
Why the extension all the way out to Hobson's Creek? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, so our current boundary goes to Lake Elbow. So this hash marked area, you'll see that there's already a subdivision out there. It wasn't necessarily a question of capacity as it was proximity. So when we're doing future land use analysis, we recognize that we can't predict the future, but we know where things are and we know where infrastructure can be extended. So we wanted to basically create a one section radius around existing development, knowing that it's going to be driven by the private market and there may be development that wants to extend that, come off of that infrastructure. And it seemed short-sighted to just say, no, we got to keep the boundary at Lake Elbow when there's already development that has gone up to Lake Elbow.
I can't imagine the city water services being able to service that far out, huge amount of infrastructure and cost. So the cities agreed to this kind of this, well, they've agreed to it, but if they thought about the water, the sewer system.
Yeah, the capacity exists. It will depend on what is being proposed exactly. We'll have to do further analyses as, you know, if an industrial use comes in, you know, they're going to be a heavy user, much more than a residential subdivision. So those, we'll just have to do the cost benefit analysis as those proposals come forward. Currently, we are serving the area and we do have additional capacity for future development. How far that goes, we're not sure yet.
Yeah, I would think at some point Potawatomi County's water and sewer service would come into that area maybe. I don't know how far they can go with their system.
Yeah, that is probably a greater limiting factor of what the county can continue to provide. So the city has been, gosh, how long have we had that line out there? 2014. Yeah, we extended a line out there. So I think there's all but one subdivision that is currently being served by city water and sewer.
We have other questions.
No.
Your motion?
Oh, on the resolution itself, yeah. I'll go ahead and move to sign resolution 051826, approving the city of Manhattan's proposal to amend the Manhattan Urban Area Comprehensive Plan, future land use map in the Green Valley Blue Township area to reflect changes envisioned by the East Manhattan Gateway vision process. We'll have a mouthful.
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded to approve the resolution 051826 as proposed. All in favor?
All three, please sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, it's time for Jacob Hansen.
Ready to go? All right. Good morning, Commissioners. Jacob Hansen, Riley County Councilor, here for administrative work session and staff update. For the administrative work session, I wanted to bring to your attention. We have a important date coming up, which would be June 16th, 2026. That is the day that the city is going to be considering star bonds and TIF districts for the Edge District. Following the conclusion of that hearing on that day, we'll provide a 30-day timer for the county to decide whether or not it wants to find adverse impact. If you'll recall, that term adverse impact should sound familiar. It's the same mechanism that we use as far as our HID is concerned. So one thing my office plans on doing, and to work with everybody else as well, is put together a policy or approach one from either, some of our larger counterparts, or find a policy that's appropriate for considering TIF districts and star bonds. I'm not aware of any that exist here at the county currently, but we could certainly make that happen. Then we'll be looking to do such. So that way, when June 16th comes, the county, you guys have some standards to look at and to review in conjunction with those bonds and zip districts.
We'd approve the star bonds
Mhm.
and TIF.
Yep,
Star bonds too.
that's my understanding. Both of them had 30-day windows to find adverse effect. So
And does that include the school district as well?
it should,
Yeah.
yeah, it
Does
should.
that-
I wasn't looking specifically for a school district, but usually it's anybody who is levying property tax or ad valorem taxes, I think is how it's phrased in the statute, has the opportunity to do this. So we'll be watching that closely. I just want to make sure you guys are also tracking that day for June 16th, and we'll want to make sure we're watching and seeing what they're doing and see, do your own research or however you want to tackle that one. Outside of that, as far as the staff update goes, it's been somewhat business as usual, continuing to move forward, work with HR, and the investigation has taken up a majority of time because we're wanting to get that done as quickly as possible to avoid any, real impact organizationally or otherwise. So that's taking up the bulk of my time here, and then just assisting where I can for other departments, which comes in a variety of forms. Any specific questions on any projects? No. All right. Well, I will look to have hopefully some policies here before you guys here shortly.
Okay.
Next machine, press conference at 9:30.
Yeah, but I can make sure I get it. Is that when are you 45? Okay, let me. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for. I was hoping that got done quicker.
That's 30 seconds, take forever. Commissioners?
Morning, Anna Burson with the Riley County Appraiser's Office. As you know, we're required to follow Kansas statutes and guidelines from the Property Valuation Division. As part of the appraisal maintenance specifications, all ag land must be reviewed at least once every 2 years. To comply with this requirement, agricultural use questionnaires and maps were mailed Friday, May 15th, with postage paid return envelope. These mailings were sent to all property owners with parcels that are currently classified as agricultural use within Riley County. We respectfully request that the completed questionnaires be returned to our office no later than July 1st. Returning the completed questionnaire helps ensure the appropriate ag use classification remains on the property record. Failure to return the completed map and questionnaire could result in the loss of agricultural use classification for the property. So it's extremely important to return those. If property owners have any questions or concerns, please contact our office, 785-537-6310, extension 5020, to speak with our agricultural appraiser. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Ellerman, Public Works. Just a note, reminder, transfer station will be closed on Monday, May 25th, in observance of Memorial Day, and will reopen again at 7 a.m. on Tuesday, May 26th. Have any questions, please call Public Works Office.
Thanks, John. Next commissioner, you have David Adams at 9:35. wish. I went out one time, was back in our area and I think I told you I got this bad enough drum. I was hoping the white bass were in there, you know.
Not yet.
Need to get a lot of rain so it backs up in there, and they always come up in there.
Well, sounds like it's been rain all week and good chances.
Well,
of rain all week.
Washington's been getting us for several days in a row and all that water's coming down here, so imagine maybe they'll be holding some back. Yeah, we'll see what today brings.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I haven't been out in a couple of weeks. I'm out here a few hours.
Any good?
A couple little ones, nothing big.
Beats nothing.
Fairly convenient.
It has been windy this spring.
But fishing and not catching anything, but if you're not fishing at all. That's how I look at it.
But it's all
Good
working.
attitude.
All working.
We're working.
Okay,
All right, good morning, Commissioners. David Adams, interim Health Department Director. Have in front of you is a.
Hang on. Motion going as
Oh,
Board of
I'm
Health.
sorry. I'm moving.
Yeah, we need to move to recess as the Board of County Commission and convene as the Board of County Health.
Second.
that's been moved and seconded to recess as the Board of County Commission and reconvene as the Board of County Health. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now we're good.
Okay,
Now you're ready. All right. David Adams, interim Health Department Director, and I'm here, first item in front of you is a memorandum of agreement between Fort Riley and Riley County for the use of facilities for the WIC program on Fort Riley. So couple little things to highlight for you, if I may, on section 3, purpose and scope. The last section, it talks about Riley County reserves the right at all times to terminate the program if such KDHE funding becomes stagnant, is reduced or eliminated. But I thought that was important to highlight for you that, they understand, Fort Riley does, how this is funded and such. So that was important. And then the next section I wanted to highlight for you is on the next page under Riley County will. I'm looking here and I need to look there. This agreement will be renewed annually with the garrison commanders. So that was the other thing I was kind of looking at, wanting to make sure that was in there, was how often will this be reviewed? And then the third part, as we get into this, is the review of the agreement. So it'll be reviewed at least halfway through the year. And if there's substantial changes, then those changes can be made then or wait till the end of the year, kind of depending on the parties. So, but there are a couple areas in here that we left in place because of where we are in the health department right now. So, so the people so it still has Caitlin Spieth and Diane as the points of contact. However, working with Jacob and with Kathy, we did change the signature for Riley County will be Kathy. I know this is Caitlin, but I have updated letters for you to sign if you so choose, that it'll be Kathy Jones, as she is the interim lead for WIC. Do you have any other questions?
I don't have any questions.
Wasn't sure about that look.
Oh, no,
You had a kind of
something moved on the screen there at the same time there. Sorry.
You had a perplexed look on your face there, so
Yeah, I do that sometimes.
I live in that world.
No, we're good. We're good. Anybody else have anything? Okay, I'll go ahead and make a motion then to approve the memorandum of agreement between the Riley County Health Department and the United States Army Garrison for the WIC clinic.
Second.
so moved and seconded to approve the memorandum of agreement between Riley County and the United States Army Garrison, Fort Riley for the WIC program. All in favor? Aye.
So just Kathy that needs to sign it, David.
Okay, I didn't
Is
they
that
needed to
correct?
see that. Yes,
Yeah,
I didn't,
you
but
did change it to
just
Kathy,
saw
just so
the
you know.
changes. Okay,
Thanks, sir.
you're welcome. All right, the next item on the agenda is the WIC grant, and I will let the subject matter expert. Like how I did that,
Yeah, that was smooth. Good job.
but I'm not wrong.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brittany Phillips, Budget and Finance Officer. First, I want to say thank you to Kathy Jones because she has been a huge help with this WIC budget application, because I know numbers and she knows WIC. So she has been a huge help and I'm really thankful for her. So I wanted to start off with the grant application. So there's two applications here, Sue. One for the overall WIC budget, and then the other one is for the breastfeeding peer counselor. They're two separate budget applications this year. In the past, they've been combined into one. And so you'll see on here the total requests and all the information. Of course, like David said too, everything on here still says Diane Creek, Kaylin Speth. I don't think we'll have any issues with that unless you guys have any changes I can even put on here. Because the authorized signatory is Diane Creek. We can update David Adams as the interim if you would like. I just need direction if you would want that. One thing I do want to note on here, so all of these documents here we have to upload separately. And so I was working on them Friday afternoon, and the main one I was working on was the benefits calculator. And I realized that the benefits that I calculated were different than what I had entered into the grant application. And it's only because of how the salaries fall. You know, the fiscal year is October 1 through September 30th, and we had calculated it, and it's not a huge difference. So I don't want you to be concerned at all. But the salaries came up different in KGEMS. And so I had talked with Elizabeth about that last week, and we were comfortable with how it changed. But then of course that also changes the benefits. And that was not something I had, really thought about until Friday afternoon when I was working on this in my dining room. So, so the numbers have changed slightly. So the total request for WIC, including breastfeeding peer counselor, is $1,332,984. So if you guys want, I can bring this back on Thursday. I don't want you to, if you guys don't feel comfortable approving it today without seeing those updated numbers. And I did want to provide some background real quick as well, because for federal fiscal year 26, we had requested $1,344,496. And as of April, it was reallocated, and we're only being awarded $997,877. That's a pretty large gap in funding. So while I am requesting $1,332,984, I don't anticipate that we are going to get that full funding amount. And so we're going to work on budgets some more and talk about that as well. But we do anticipate, for 2027, Riley County is going to have to help subsidize the WIC program, which is not something they've necessarily had to do in the past. So any questions? I threw a lot of information at you.
Go back to the bottom of page 1.
Yes, sir.
Says says the location is at Irwin. Didn't they move?
Oh, yep. I think.
Going up another page. Keep going.
Oh,
yes.
here. Yeah, I'll change that name there. This is the correct address. That's not the right building. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll change the building.
I didn't know what the
description.
addresses were out there, but I knew it wasn't. I knew they got moved down to the hospital.
Correct. I will verify with Catherine what the actual name of the building is, but that is the correct address.
Oh, okay.
So.
She's had to learn a lot about what the layout is, what square footage do we have.
Yeah.
There was a lot that was thrown at her plate, and I just, said, well, go forth, please.
Yeah. She's like, stop emailing me, you just figure it out. So that's been working really well. And Kathy really seriously has been such a huge help. So any other questions, concerns?
No, the concern is that, I think we ought to have a corrected copy before we sign off on it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have no problem with that at all.
Yeah.
So
Whatever we can do. When is this due?
May 31st. So next week.
Okay.
So I can get it back on the agenda. I'll talk to Cindy and see if there's like 10 minutes on the agenda on Thursday. But I updated the numbers first thing this morning. And I was fully prepared for that. So I have no problem doing that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners.
have more?
No, that's it.
You have more?
Oh, I thought we had the position description.
That's for EMS.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. All right,
They get used to change of department under one person there.
You switch hats, it would help, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, absolutely.
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we recess as the Board of County Health and reconvene as the Board of County Commission.
Second.
it's removed, to recess as the Board of Health, County Health and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Kathy.
Next commissioner, we have David Adams at 9:55.
It's too hot.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Now
I'm gonna get a note from the city if I keep.
Oh, gotcha.
It's not that bad, you know, but
After this rain, and if you can't get to it, it won't take it long.
yeah. Just be shooting up.
That's for sure.
They were going on different boards. But that's much. Yeah. That's RCD's part of it. Yeah, I don't see it. It gets more stuff. Yeah. And there was, they asked. Commissioner Johnson. See what's concerned. Next thing I know, they value it. So I was about to balance my trip. Yeah. Yeah. They want to marine. You know. I'm sure it's everything.
There's a.
I hate you to break the other foot, you know, because you forgot you had a break.
I did get some rest last night.
Which packet?
Put you to sleep, RCPD.
Oh.
137 pages. I was starting to read it. And of course, there's all great information in there, but it's just,
Yeah.
you know, if you're interested. This is the part I was interested in. I'm sure you put that on too. This is Director Reed's section on the budget in regards to the background, the responsibilities.
Mhm.
Not that he has to tell you what you're responsible for, but it's just reviewing. I don't know if you picked up on this paragraph. The red, it says. Budget represents 9.9% of city budget. That's what RCP is. Think about that number. I'm gonna be there today to point this out. That's not true. That's what he's doing is he's looking at the whole city budget.
I told him the other day he wasn't responsible for taking care of the city.
It's 1%.
Yeah.
Live in the city plus the 20%.
And Kench, I've got, what page is that?
88.
88, we'll have to look at that one.
It's 20%.
20%.
He tried to compare it to what other counties.
Comparing the whole budget instead of the property tax.
And that's the point, because Saline County, it's, or shall we say, the entire general fund. From the sheriff, you know what I'm saying? Out of, you don't really have that choice. Other people, well, it's only the general fund. Whereas it says tax fees or, it's property tax.
What'd she do?
Oh, it's gonna be fine.
Getting dressed this morning? Yeah, I guess.
Question some other things.
Yeah. So he's asking for a grant from the city. For 98,000.
It's every year.
Something.
It's alcohol. Alcohol fund. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which they use for-
That's right. That's
For some
I use it.
special person, if there's some.
Yeah.
Drug and alcohol person.
Yeah. It's allowable to pay for salaries and benefits. There's drug and alcohol education.
It is.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. I can picture her, but I don't remember.
I don't remember, I just remember in the packet on the
Yeah.
position.
Way down there.
No, you said specifically, this is. This is why you need to. This looks great, this will be.
It's got out.
So it's you keep it now, until somebody meets it, and then we contact you.
Sign. Receipt. Did not.
She's on camera.
I'm glad you didn't take her injury seriously.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, finally, right?
Oh, my gosh. I had no idea the level of,
Are you trained in this?
Yeah. you
no,
thought.
I'm not, I had no idea on the level of preciousness. You can't teach an old dog.
We
new
feel
tricks.
for you more and more every day, Josh.
I understand.
You don't.
I think our whole office determined this morning that we don't want you handling.
Oh, hey, you're not gonna hear a complaint from me,
There's a reason you're in administration.
or I've been in administration for too long. I provided the equipment that she asked for in a timely manner.
Stop. Did not do that. That was just not.
Keep digging, David.
Yeah.
Keep
With a
digging.
shovel.
Hot in here.
It is hot in here. It really is hot in here.
Let's see.
Oh, my gosh. I'm always on the hot seat.
I didn't know. Holy moly,
Like, I don't care. I'm sick of it.
that's unreal. That is unreal.
I felt so bad and was for you and
I went home and slept for 2 hours after that.
Back up here.
No, I was looking at the Russell's stuff that he said. Because one of them's about all the fires down there. It's saying Clark County got 22,000 acres.
Just outside of Meade. Yeah.
And then Meade, yeah, Meade has.
It's like 46.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
all right.
It's time.
Good morning, Commissioners. David Adams, Emergency Services Director. Got it right this time. So what I have in front of you is the updated position descriptions for the EMS Division Chief and Deputy Chief. This is all part of the restructure of the reorganization of EMS, consolidating with Riley County Fire District Number 1, Emergency Management, and then the 911 Administration. So very similar to what we presented a month or so ago with the Division Chief and Deputy Chief for County Fire. It's the same format. We went back and forth quite a few times to get this iteration correct and such. But it lays out here the essential functions. I'm under the Division Chief, so this would be Josh's. So it lays out that he serves as designated service director for Riley County, Kansas, for the Board of EMS and such. But it just compliance with all federal and state, local regulations, licensing, documentation, reporting requirements. That's part of the things what the director does. It's sort of the one to make sure that we're up to date every year with our annual relicensing, that we're prepared for our annual inspections and things like that. And also for insurance companies. Josh does all the paperwork, but then I sign it. So, but everything else really stays the same. Other than where it says, directly and jointly with the deputy chief, which would have been me with the assistant chief. It's now Josh with Alex as the deputy chief. So the command structure, as we talked about here recently, is still the new way that we did with the reorganization. So we just had to update the wording and some of the verbiage on these. So position requirements was some of the things we added. If you look under licensing and certifications, successful completion of a multifaceted leadership curriculum with an emphasis in personnel management, organizational development, financial literacy, and strategic planning. So that was something that we put in. Elizabeth's really saying we need to put something in there that said more than just all the skills, but what about that all-encompassing director or deputy chief and division chief? That's all encompassing as a leader. So we looked at the NACO. We've been in the NACO programs. We're getting ready to start the CPM program, and that's what these are about. And so that's why we put that in there very specifically for these positions, because it's very important that they have more than just the skill set of a paramedic. So or in just a college degree. Really wanted to make it more multifaceted, and I thought they hit a home run with this. The other thing is experience for the director, for the division chief. Got to get that out of my head. Division chief, it's 10 years of experience in EMS with 7 years progressing in a supervisor leadership role. So we added that. We changed it because of the size of our department and quite frankly the expectations of our community require that we have the right people in the right place at the right time. And so we thought this was very important. And then you'll see with the deputy chief, we added to that as well, not to this level because there won't be the division chief, but we did the same thing there. And then we'll get into skills. A lot of these are very similar to what we've had in the past. I think we did add demonstrate ability in supervision, and effective relationship building. So with our departments and with every department, really, it's all about the relationship with those in charge and the staff working with you. It's really important for us, that we spend time with the staff, we build those relationships, and really work with our leaders on this as well. Everything else is the same.
Physical demands.
Physical demands.
No, it's physical.
Oh, physical.
At first I thought, what is that? Oh, okay, that's what.
I forgot a P in there.
The last part there, must reside within Riley County within 60 days of hire date, and that's been the same. It's so, as a senior leader in emergency services, whether it's EMS or fire, they need to live within the county. Any questions on this?
I was just gonna say on that one might get tougher and tougher depending on finding people, but
It is. I mean, it can be a little bit of a struggle, but if they want the job and such, that's part of it.
Commissioners, I do think that's a point you need to think about. You
Yep.
made a decision.
Oh.
Commissioners, I think that's a really important point you need to think about, and I brought it up with the fire as well. You've made a decision that directors need to be within the county, but fire and EMS individually are requiring these chief levels, so these next level down to be within the county. And I think your point about recruiting is a good one. And I've talked to all of them across the board about, you could live in Junction City and actually be responsive faster than if you live in North County. And so I'm not sure it should be based on county residency or response rate, just from the recruiting standpoint. So something to think about.
Any questions on that?
do we need to do them separately or?
No, they're together.
Oh, they are.
One motion's fine.
Okay. Did you have a question? Okay.
I'm just.
All right, so the deputy chief of EMS, very similar. The essential functions are a little different because their jobs are a little different. So it serves as designated program manager and service assistant director with the Kansas Board of EMS. The program manager is the education side of our department. So that is what the state designates you want to call it a training officer or staff development specialist, but it's program manager, and that's what it is. And responsible for not only the training of our staff, but also making sure the myriad of paperwork that goes along with that to the state. The I's are dotted, T's are crossed, it's submitted. Everything has timelines with the state. So after he gets done training a class, he has a certain timeline to meet all these criteria, get it sent to the state. Has to do the same thing with anytime we have an update to a policy or a protocol. He's got to get that submitted to the state. It's all within days. So that's a big part of what he does. So, and then collaborates with internal and external resources on the design, development, and implementation of education programs. That's one of the other big separations between the deputy chief and the division chief in EMS. So, any questions about that? And then the skill set, bachelor's degree in EMS health or business related fields preferred. And then we again, the successful completion of the leadership curriculum is in this position as well. It's a senior leader position. So, and then 7 years experience where the division chief was 10 years. This is 7 years, 5 years progressing in a leadership role for this. That's another thing that was new that we added to this iteration. Looks like we have physical demands in this one. So if you have no questions, then it is our staff recommendation for the Board of County Commissioners to approve the updated position descriptions as presented with the one spelling change.
I could move to approve the updated position descriptions for the EMS division chief and deputy chief.
Well, second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the updated position descriptions. as presented for the EMS Division Chief and Deputy Chief. All in favor?
All three, please sign.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thanks, David. Next, we have executive session at 10:05. Going for full-time, Jacob?
Yes, sir.
Paperwork here.
Oh, shoot, I didn't go grab the new one yet. Sorry, hold that one. I had something.
This isn't right.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just missing one person, but I should have the,
I mean, the day.
Losing your voice?
Yeah. For your.
He's missed you kinda, maybe not.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, this
That's the first one.
Here, just. All right.
No.
There you go. Okay. I will move that the county commissioners, including Chairwoman Boki, Vice Chairman Ford, and Commissioner McKinley with Jacob Hansen, County Counselor, Elizabeth Ward, Human Resource Director, Michelle Reed, Human Resource Manager, and Brittany Phillips, Budget and Finance Officer, recess into executive session for personnel matters of non-elected personnel, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act, and to protect the privacy of the employees, to discuss the conduct of employees in the open meeting, to resume in the commission chamber at 10:25 a.m.
Second.
So moved and seconded for the county commission to recess into executive session for the reasons previously stated under the personnel matter exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we are live. It's not fun at all.
No consensus?
Yeah. We are live. I'll go ahead and move that the Board of County Commission come out of executive session.
Second.
Yes, I'm moving and seconded that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Also move that the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached in executive session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that consent action shall be taken in consistent with the consensus reached in executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Michael, why here today?
Okay.
There you go.
All right, commissioners. Jake Vance, Riley County Council, here to present the moratorium that has been discussed. I'm sorry, I didn't ask. Are you guys ready to proceed?
Let me find it.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. So the moratorium, the resolution is pretty straightforward. It's relatively lengthy because it highlights, of course, the legal authority for us to put a moratorium in place. It defines what a data center is. It also defines that battery energy storage system. There we go. And Michael has worked with Amanda, of course, and putting this together and getting those definitions of what would consist of these kinds of entities that we're wanting to just put a hold on while we put, again, regulations in place. And that's largely the reason that we understand the board wants this in place. We want time to be able to look and consider other regulations. So when an application inevitably or perhaps comes in, we have some standardized basis of reviewing that. And so that's the intent. This is set for 6 months. So I believe it's the end or middle of November is the set. Yep. November 12th, 2026 is when it shall no longer be in effect. The board, of course, can determine to remove that earlier, modify, extend. It's whatever you guys want, we can do with the resolution. But it's there to effectively do what you guys had asked a little while ago. Any questions? Right.
So will that be dated today or we're gonna?
So it would
backdate it?
be, it'll be effective on publication in the county newspaper. Because this resolution, while the requirements for publication depends on whether or not the authorization for the resolution is done by home rule authority. If it's done by home rule authority, then we have to do the publication process. But if it's through other authority, which arguably exists, but we want to make sure we cover our bases because in the future, if this were happen to be challenged, we want to make sure we went ahead and just did all the extra that we can. So it'll be effective the date of the publication.
I make a motion then, that move that the board sign the resolution as presented.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that the motion to approve resolution 051826 should be adopted as seconded. Approved. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All three, please sign.
Staff and closure and PPO. I need to ask.
Oh, yeah. Ready? Yeah. I just bought a chainsaw the other weekend and it turns up Well, I had a huge branch that just fell on my driveway, so it's a good thing I bought it, or else that wouldn't have not gone anywhere.
Do you wanna bring your chainsaw to my house? We'll cut
Do you need
that
it?
tree down. Yeah, I do. I got that tree that needs to go
All right,
cut off.
others duty is.
Except we're not paying workers' comp on it.
Call that other duty.
Chainsaw.
Catherine. Elizabeth.
May I have
Oh,
some
sure.
direction?
Commissioners, Elizabeth Ward, Human Resources Director, and when I was heading out, Anna caught me and we had to I wanted to get a little direction for staff for today and how, when, or if you even want to make a decision. There's now a couple schools that are closed at 1 p.m. We've got some staff who either want or need to leave early in order to get those children, and we have some staff in training in Topeka, which the Topeka is saying, if you want your staff to go home to be safe from the storm, I think was what they're saying, you have to tell us what time they should leave. And so we would just like some direction if you want people to need to leave, just to use PTO. If there's a certain point where you'd like, Russell or someone to give you a report on potentially closing early, I just would like direction on that. I know he mentioned it this morning and how I can then direct staff.
If you need to leave early, leave early. If you want to stick around, stick around.
Like I say, they take PTO, but
Okay, I know he.
kids from him.
Yeah, I heard him say that it might be a I don't know his exact words, but a consideration of potentially closing early to get staff home. And so I didn't want to assume that is or isn't what you wanted to do. So.
Well, it's, the storm is projected to hit around 3-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Three what?
3 to 5. Yeah. 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 So I'm not suggesting we all go home now. Just wondering if we have that kind of thing, if you want to make a decision, if someone should contact Catherine to make a decision. If you just know you want to stay open, period, and then I can direct staff accordingly.
Well, I know we don't need people out on the roads if this storm hits. That's a problem. Or anywhere that's not safe.
Yeah, that's my concern.
So and it could be 2 in my head or 3 or whatever. I don't know how we do that. Do we keep them monitor on the storm and?
I think we're all adults here. We can kind of figure out what we need to do and what we don't need to do.
If we need to go home, we need to go home.
But the direction is administrative leave or PTO. That's the real question.
I think, Catherine, to answer your question, in the past, what I believe has been done is that the person, so it'd be Russell Lori, I think, would contact the chair to make a decision whether you want to close the offices. I would imagine he can do that give you updates, 1, 2.
Yeah, that's what I wanted, like it. Relook at it at 1 or 2
Yeah.
and see. It's.
I mean,
predictions are not.
I know.
I'm not with that, but I know it's.
Well, they've got the percentages, so the percentage of it potentially happen is higher now than
It
it was
is.
even this morning.
I
So.
think they think it's.
Want me to get with Russell about 1 o'clock and then call you and update you?
Because I'm gonna be in the lawn board.
Okay,
and
we can
we'll have
text
to
you.
figure out what we're gonna do with that too.
Okay, 1 o'clock sound like the appropriate time, commissioners, or?
Yeah, we start at noon, so yeah.
I was just thinking in advance of the storm and then to get
Yes.
word out.
Yeah, text me.
1 or
or-
1:30, 1:30 work? I can just do it at 1:30.
Then you'll be done.
It's not fair.
That was Gary.
I'll get with Russell at 1. I'll get with Russell at 1:30, then I'll text you. Okay?
Yeah. Text me, because I will keep my phone close, and if we're in the middle of something, I'll come right back, I'll go back out there.
And then we'll get the appropriate.
Yeah,
message
and I know
out.
they're having a webinar now, and I imagine they'll have another one out of Topeka at some point. But yeah, I think just some direction, and then that way you can let us know what you want to do, and I can put it out to staff, and we can handle it appropriately. Okay, all right, thank you for the plan. I appreciate that very much.
I just did full text the planning to see that we got last night.
Oh.
To see what's going on.
Okay. I think that was the last.
What,
Like law.
Oh, law board, that's what I've seen on that, okay. That's not on me.
Your time.
Yeah.
I need to keep it open until after the law board.
No, absolutely
No,
not.
I didn't think so.
The law board is not part of our meeting.
I didn't.
That's our separate meeting, you know, do it's not.
Just don't talk about county stuff.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
County funding.
Yeah, well, I guess there is that a little bit.
Well, we don't have,
Yeah, you do, the
well, we do.
two of you,
Two of us, there's five.
but statutorily, you're allowed to talk about that there in that particular meeting, it's in statute.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're
That'd be
good
part of
On that one.
Mhm. You just can't make any official county votes.
Also true.
All right.
So,
We have a motion.
Motion.
yeah, I'll make a motion that we adjourn the May 18th meeting of the Riley County Commission.
Second.
So moved and seconded to adjourn the May 18th meeting of the Board of Raleigh County Commissioners. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
There's Willie.
Yeah.